Once you've wrestled, everything else in life is easy. Quote from Dan Gable, taken from Successory.com. I'm sure all of you have been to a wrestling match before, but do you really know what goes into being a wrestler? Today I'm going to tell you why this quote is so accurate. First, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the history of wrestling. From athleticscholarship.com, they tell me that wrestling is known as one of the first forms of combat. It's popular in Greece, and in 1888 was the first formal wrestling tournament. Some of the basic wrestling terms and stuff you need to know is from Indianapolis Recorder is there's 3 types of wrestling: freestyle, Greco, and folk style. Folk style is probably the most popular that you'll see in high school. There's different weight classes. You have to make your different weight class. A heavy guy cannot wrestle a small guy. I'm sure you guys know that. And then there's different rules, like 2 for a takedown, a pin. If both your shoulders are on the mat, that's a pin. Now that you know a little bit about the basics, I'm going to tell you a little bit about like the discipline and things that go into wrestling. So cutting weight, first of all. If you don't cut weight, you're going to have a tough time winning matches. So cutting weight's a huge part of wrestling. The practices are the hardest thing that most people have ever gone through, and it teaches you a lot and how to stay tough and how to stay dedicated. And losing's a huge part, and if you don't know how to lose, then you probably won't be a good wrestler. There's a huge mental aspect in wrestling. Some people say being mentally tough is better than being physically strong and being talented. The feeling before a match is unlike any other thing because it's you versus the other guy on the mat, and it's all on you. And even if you are doing good, staying humble is another huge thing about wrestling. If you don't stay humble, then you're gonna get on your high horse and you're gonna get knocked off, and you're really gonna be in a different place mentally. Now that you know some of the different mental aspects and how wrestling really works, I'm gonna tell you a little bit about my experiences. While I was in wrestling, those practices were nothing that I could have been ever prepared for. There's nothing that prepares you for something that hard. Losing in wrestling is one of the hardest things that you'll ever do because it's all you and it's all on you. It's all your fault if you lose. It's nobody else's. But then winning is the best feeling in the world. If you pin the guy in 30 seconds, it's amazing. If you win in a triple overtime win, it's the best feeling in the world because you beat the other guy and you battled harder than the other guy. And then there's a few lessons that I've carried throughout my life. Throughout like hard work and doing like detasseling or like manual labor for anything, nothing compares to those workouts. Nothing is really hard compared to those workouts. The job that I just got, the guy hired me because I was a wrestler and he knew I worked hard and he knew I knew how to work hard. And being mentally stronger. After losing and winning and all the ups and downs of wrestling, a wrestler is just mentally stronger and really knows how to adapt to anything, really. Now that you know a little bit about my experiences, I hope you can have an added respect for wrestlers. Wrestling is the hardest sport, and there's no way around it. I hope the next time when you're watching a wrestling meet or watching anybody wrestle, you see it on TV. I hope you can understand what really goes into it. Wrestling is the best sport on this planet.